Let me introduce you to Maria. Maria is the head of sales of a German company. It's Tuesday, June 23rd, 7:50 in the morning, and she enters her office ready to start her business day. The business day is already prepared because her digital agent already set up her morning briefing, informing her, first of all, about the stock price of her company, informing her about latest news from the market, as the agent already scanned the web, gives her an update on the customer side, what needs her attention, and also brings back the information she has done booking the business trip to London, where she needs further support. Maria can bring it to her strength, answering what kind of the study she would like to have, giving more further instructions to the agent, gives her the information how to deal with a customer, because that is what she knows, and how to deal because she knows her business. And last but not least, she's the one giving short insights so that the agent can take over again and continue and finish the booking for her days, letting her know what to do. It continues. There is a customer that hasn't paid, and the agent identifies it's the first time. So it's up to Maria to decide what to do, because she has the experience how customers to deal with. She has the experience and has a good judgment on how to deal with it. In this case, to not go with a very hard ball, but to go with a first discussion. The second, there's a performance program running in Maria's company. And her agent talked to the other agents of the network, the HR agent, talked to the customer agent. What kind of options does she have to cut her budget? What would have the most business impact? The agent will deploy options to Maria, yet she is the one deciding on them and making sure that she has everything in her responsibility in the big picture, which is also one of her strengths. So she chooses two options to combine them and makes a clear decision how to move forward. Last, the agent knows that there's a resource issue in one of the projects and makes a clear suggestion to Maria how to deal with it. She knows her team. She knows who's interested in making a challenge. She knows who wants to step up and makes a clear recommendation how to move forward. So what does this mean? It means she has started her day within 15 minutes only, what usually would have taken her 1.5 hours to scan all her emails, to go through the information she has, to have digital scenarios deployed, and to really think what's going on. So she can focus with her agent on the things that really matter, where she can create the best value. And this is having the big picture in mind, having a clear judgment on the situation, taking decisions, and developing her team. True human skills. The agent helps her in all the administration and organizational stuff. The question is not, is this 2027 or is this 2030? The real question is this your company or is it the company of your competitors? Will you be the one taking advantage of agentic AI? Will you be the one transforming this into business value? Or will your competitors do? My name is Katharina Hopp. I lead businesses in transformation for more than 20 years, whether digital transformation, technology transformation, or also restructuring. And I'm happy to share my experience with you. If we look, how do you ignite your future? We've heard a lot about technology today. Out there, you have many, many booths with great technology options. Yet, if you really want to ignite your future, it's not only about the technology. It's about 3 core pillars. It's about building the future. It's about building trust in the future. And it's about scaling it up and bringing it into life. So it's actually the question, how do you shape your organization to help and support that change? Let's take a first look at the point of building the future. Building your future, many companies start with what can we automate, where do we create efficiency, where can we leave things out? But actually the real bold task here is not to ask yourself about automation, but to ask and rethink your value. Do I really understand why customers are buying my product? Is it my product? Is it my excellent service? Is it the speed of delivery? Or is it our holistic offering that actually makes them purchase? And why is this question so important? It's so important because this determines which work in your company still deserves a human. We see that by 2030, mechanical work is reducing about 24%. What is coming up is problem solving, curiosity, and creativity. These are exactly the human skills that we all need when applying AI. To give you one example, there's a social welfare office. Due to a change in legislation, they were taking care of elderly homes, and it was not sufficient anymore to have frame contracts, but they needed to make a real contract with every of the homes. So the amount of contracts they had to do increased from 40 to about 350. To deal with that amount of contracts on an individual basis within a short time frame, they implemented an AI tool that helped them to scan the current contracts, to compare the current contracts, to draft new contracts. But then it was still up to the human to decide, to make a decision which contracts to do. And also it was up to the human to go into the negotiation. And this is exactly how we need to make sure that we collaborate with AI and humans, and this works well. But having set this up, important that this collaboration works, there is trust. Trust the future. Trusting the future is about building a good governance, creating transparency, and also creating accountability. There's a lot of fear when it comes to AI, and even worse with agentic AI. There's the fear of job loss. There's the fear of the data or the agents not being transparent what they do. There's even the fear that the machines will take over completely, like we know it from science fiction movies. We see throughout figures and also shown today on the main stage, the trust in AI is actually decreasing. Only around 53% of people still trust AI. It depends a little bit on the country and on the continent. Actually, Europe is somewhere in the middle. The worst is the US. So what do you do to create this trust? How do you build the confidence in the usage? First of all, it's about a good governance. I am all for innovation and that people try out things. This is really important. But like in a car, you have a brake to run fast. And this is exactly with AI governance. You need to have a good set of guidelines that is understood by the people, how they can use it, how they can make decisions, and who gets access to tools and to decisions. And this governance, the most important it is, because we all know governance is not the most favorite word. How can this governance be dynamic? So the big important information is to set it up with simple rules and to be able to adjust it and to deploy it quickly. With the time of the technology, with the speed of the technology, you must have a governance that can be adaptable at least once or twice a year, because this will be the speed we're faced with. And this is not only about giving out a new piece of paper, but is it to ensure that the people understand what's new and what is now valid at the moment. The second thing is about your data sets. This is the part about transparency. Does your data really reflect your company? Why am I asking this? The set of data you have varies strongly between different departments. For example, you might have very strong data in manufacturing, or you don't have so much data in sales. To make sure that it really represents the whole company, you have to have a balance between your organization, your markets, and the data that's available. And the good news is you don't have to do it yourself. This is clearly a task agents can do. They can observe and monitor your data and check if this really fits and bring to your attention where we need to rebalance. And last but not least, to build this trust, the question is who is responsible for what kind of decisions? there needs to be a clear understanding what are agents allowed to do. For example, if you order toilet paper or if you order regular paper, do you really want to have a human involved in this? But what is it different if you order a piece of software, if you want to negotiate a contract? There, truly, humans are needed. So you also need to make it very clear who is able to decide for what and to which circumstance and with guidelines. This is exactly the accountability that people are looking for. Once you've built that trust and you've established a framework, it is all about scaling the future and bringing it to life. Scaling the future, again, it might be a part of technology, but that is not the critical part. It is about capabilities, commitment, and culture. And the true question is, how do you manage the different paces in your company? Because you will have the techies that do that voluntarily on the weekend, that are all enthusiastic about the new technology, that program their own little agent net. But then you have experts that have been with your company for more than 20 years, that understand your product perfectly, that understand your customer perfectly, that understand the context they're operating in perfectly. And you need to make sure that they are involved. According to studies, 59 to 63% of the workforce, it depends a little bit on the study, needs upskilling in the next 5 years. They need to come up to speed with AI. So you cannot leave it to the personal preferences of people if they skill themselves up or not. You need to make sure that it's mandatory. And this is a clear task to build up the capabilities of everyone involved with AI. You might consider this as a cost factor, but this is a true investment in your domain experts, in your people that understand your business. They need to come up to speed and understand what agents can do for them. And this mandatory part doesn't always have to be so negative. It can also be fun. How about implementing gamification? How about implementing awards? How about making a competition out who have the best use cases? But then it's also about measuring it. And there's also the truth to it. You need KPIs to make sure that you understand what the balance is like. There's one example of the company called Kirche. I think you know them all. They're doing the cleaning devices. They started their AI journey approximately 3 years ago. And they had a very clear commitment from the board. The board was fully behind it. They purchased licenses, AI licenses for every single user in the company. And the board was not asking how much it is. The board was just looking where to get the money from. So very clearly. Second, they've done training throughout the whole company in various sessions, in Ask Me Anything sessions, in offline sessions, in online sessions, during lunchtime. And again, here also, the C-suite was part of this and also admitted what works and what doesn't work, shared their use cases. So it is about the clear commitment, but also they implemented and still do have KPIs, anonymously, of course. How many prompts are there per department per week? How many use cases are there generated? And yes, KPIs can be faked. That's true. You can fake everything what has numbers. But nevertheless, you need to have a monitoring to ensure that you keep the balance in your company, because as this picture shows, the whole company is sitting in one boat, and it doesn't help you if one organization does it well and the others don't. And on top of this, the secret sauce to this scaling will be your culture. I know this is a little bit difficult to implement, and I know this is not just something like you deploy and plug and play, but the real question is, do you really foster innovation, especially in times like this, when efficiency is the call of the hour? Do you really value people that bring up information, or do you secretly think, didn't they have anything else to do? This will be important to also encourage your people to detect their own use cases. The second is, how do you deal with failures? I often hear that 95%, there's this number, that 95% of the AI use cases fail. The thing is, we are in such an early stage of the technology. Is this really failure, or is it rather steps to success? Also, this is about how you think about it and how you encourage people. So basically, in these times of agentic AI, business success is not determined about the best technology. It is about leading your people to use it and to follow the change. It is about making deliberate choices, choices where to delegate and choices where to keep the human. It will be about adaptability. How fast can you adapt to new models? How fast can you adapt to new providers, to new technologies? How can you balance the pace of your organization and the technology? And in the end, you will also need the courage to skip the one or the other development to make sure that your organization can follow. But overall, and this is something I think we're in Germany, you still have to learn, it is speed over perfection. We need to start now. If we don't start now, we will fall back on this race. We need to adapt fast, and we need to copy with pride. There are so many providers out there today. You get a lot of support. Don't go into the trap in inventing it all by yourself, but get help from good partners to help you on this journey. Because one thing is very clear, the game is on. There is no way of stopping it. There is no way of slowing it down. The only question that remains is, are you actually playing it, or are you really leading it? Thank you very much.